Children have been an important part of the labor force throughout human history. But in the 19th century, this became a problem due to industrialization, as children were exposed to dangerous working conditions. Employers, however, saw a huge benefit to the use of child labor. Children were smaller and more nimble, and so therefore could perform functions that would be more difficult for adults. But it wasn't until the advent of the Great Depression that real change was on the horizon. With so many Americans out of work, labor unions and laborers began to clamor for an end to child labor to ensure that the adult working population would have enough jobs. Lawmakers actually drafted legislation which ended the practice in the United States, limiting working hours and improving working conditions for young people.
You can now buy a t-shirt for as little as $7 and a pair of jeans for $15. To keep these prices low, companies outsource their clothing production to countries such as Bangladesh. They don't just absorb this loss of profit resulting from lowering their prices. They try and pass it down the supply chain in an attempt to offset their loss until it reaches those who cannot pass it down anymore. Their wages are so low that they're unable to lift themselves and their families out of poverty, and thus the cycle just continues. Apart from lowering wages, firms also try to offset their loss by asking suppliers to cut their wholesale prices. Suppliers say that because they're desperate for business, they don't really have a choice. Either cut their prices or lose out on business. Suppliers then try and offset their losses by cutting back on maintaining a safe work environment, which can lead to tragedies such as the Rana Plaza collapse in 2013, where 1,130 people died. But people say, are we not doing them a favor by giving them business and stimulating their economy? Isn't working in a factory at any wage better than the other alternatives available to them? For example, working as a prostitute or selling your child into slavery. This is not a choice. This is the exploitation of vulnerability. Companies are profiting off their need to work.